Hey guys, Husky here. Welcome to a different video. Well, it isn't really a different video, but seeing a couple of videos from, of course, my two favorite streamers. Two of my many favorite streamers that I do watch time to time, Liam and IceGold. They were talking about. Well, I know Liam was the main video Liam was doing recently was talking about the jading of PvP. Now, if you know me, I don't PvP that much. I used to PvP when it was like, back in H2. So I really don't have a lot of knowledge of what the PvP meta is like nowadays. But obviously, jading has been around since I could really say, I guess you could really say it started around when the Wyvern Horde pack or whatever it was came out. I don't remember what the exact name was. Whichever one the Jade set came from, which had high outgoing and incoming resist, healing, and then a whole bunch of resist, and life mastery. That was the original Jade. And you could do it on life, you could do it on ice. And, the idea of jading, I think, for PvE was probably, PvE jading was probably what the pack was meant to be for. But then, of course, PvP meta, back then, you could, go that full set, get a pet with with spellproof and defy, and then whichever strong high-hitting schools you would get, like fire ward, balance ward, myth ward, storm ward, stuff like that. But I think the real, obviously, back then, but jading still exists now. And I think the problem, and obviously this is going to be a test run problem, is, of course, Selenopolis, the new spell, the new life spell, is a big heal. Really big heal. And the problem that I saw Liam said was jading's gotta come back. And I totally heartily agree with that. That is definitely a problem that, you don't see it a lot in PvE because, you don't really need to worry about that type of stuff in PvE. Whereas, PvP, you have, especially, you have those people that, do waste your time. And I think, jading is one of those cheese strats that, if performed correctly, you're going to get a rage quit, no matter who you're fighting. And no matter, unless you have somebody that can just instantly counter them, you're going to have a hard time. Obviously, I don't, obviously my perspective on jading and that type of stuff is not going to be the same as a PvP player's, just because I don't PvP that much. Obviously, I am going to get into PvP, it's just, right now, PvE is the main focus. Now, that's the one thing. I am hoping that, we'll finally get something that will change up the PvP, PvP for, make it so that you can punish Jades a lot better. But, there's obviously changes coming to test realm that are probably going to, that have come to test realm that only make jading just a little bit easier, And the big problem is, card allowance. I'll call it card allowance. For now, just because I don't remember the actual term off of hand. When you have, max card copies, yeah. I think jading needs to have, the healing spells need less. Obviously, having less heals would make jading a little less, less fruitful. obviously the PvP community has had to deal with jading for so long, you know, way longer than it should be around. Definitely, it should have been quashed way long ago. Unfortunately, with PvP still having to deal with jades, and you know, I think right now one of the main schools that was just super busted was balance, and it was just, you know, that's the one thing that we haven't seen in PvP for a while, and now I'm not going to just sink my teeth onto the fact of Rochambeau. I personally like the system. Has it been implemented in the best way possible? Yeah, I don't really think so. I think the Rochambeau should have, you know, obviously certain schools are going to have certain weaknesses that can be exploited by, that should be able to be, you know, you use the weakness of whichever school you're fighting to your advantage. Unfortunately, the big problem that goes on is certain schools have no answer to other schools, even if they are supposed to be schools that counter. You know, certain schools that counter other schools can't fight their counter just because their school just does not have, you know. But it all comes down to, right now, the current state of PvP looks like this. In what I hear from PvP community people that talk about it, is your fate in your PvP match is decided right as soon as you spawn in. If you're against a school that you can't beat, you're doomed. If you're against a school that you know you 100% stomp down, you got this in the bag and you're going to just dumpster. Or it's very close. Or you get the nice close roll on it. Now, obviously, there will probably be times where you do get lucky and you do get that lucky comeback win that you do, you know, you play perfectly, they get, you know, maybe one deck fail that just won't let them get through and you win. That can happen. There's always rooms for what I'd call upset wins. Is it going to happen all the time? No. But right now, PvP, from what I hear, is you're going to usually crash out if you get the wrong matchup, whichever you're fighting. And more times than not, you know, especially if you're playing, you know, ice, and, you know, you're playing something like ice, your fate's going to be sealed if you're facing somebody like a life. It's just how PvP, it's just, you got dealt the bad hand, and, you know, sorry, too bad, you're not going to be able to complete this fight. Fight in PvP, you're going to lose some elo. And I think what hurts more is that the PvP Rochambeau thing, building it around elo was not the move. It definitely wasn't. Building the Rochambeau around elo and, you know, just, you know, you can go on a tear and win a ton of matches by just playing the right school and getting the correct matchups. Same thing on the other hand, you get a big lose streak going and you lose a ton of elo just because you're getting people that, you know, that just happen to just play the school that counters you, and they just get everything going right for them, and you just continue losing elo after elo after elo, and it just, you know, it obviously gets frustrating. Especially when the schools that are beating you can, you know, when the schools that are beating you, especially if you're fighting into a life and you can't counter the healings from a Jade, it feels disheartening. It makes you feel bad. It makes you feel like you're, you know, you're just inferior because you can't beat a strategy that just is so overtuned. You know, and, you know, sometimes you do have those moments. You know, the PvP community side of this community, they you know, obviously there are a few loose cannons out there that are going to just, you know, be unhinged, do the cheese strats no matter what, just because they want to be, you know, they just want to flaunt off their warlord status, #1 leaderboard, just because they play a broken strategy and a broken school. There's going to be people like that. But for those that are just trying to just have fun with the PvE and advanced content, they should be allowed to have fun and just, you know, because I think PvP, there comes in PvP some pretty cool strategies. You know, obviously cosplaying is a problem. You know, that's obviously a problem. You know, but there do come some strategies off of just, you know, some people have come up with some pretty creative strategies in the past. You know, whether it was just something that went against the school that they were using, or even, you know, trying to master, you know, something that would just, you know, that had, you know, or something that was just very good into every single matchup that they fought, you know. PvP has no consistency. It lacks consistency. Even if you are against a school that you counter, there might be a time where they just get the better deck rolls and you just can't find what you want, and you end up losing because of just the RNG. Now, I'm not saying, you know, obviously I'm no PvP expert, and obviously what I'm saying, you know, might not be correct. There might be some, you know, stuff that I might be saying that doesn't actually really exist in the PvP community. Well, in PvP. But I feel like I'm doing an okay, decent job with it. You know, obviously PvP is not my strong suit. I've been a PvE player for a long time. Obviously, me getting into PvP is going to be a road trip, and obviously, once I finally do a lot of PvP content, I will probably have different thoughts on PvP. Or my thoughts on PvP will stay rooted, because, you know, I like to try and stay informed on PvE content, PvP and PvE content as much as possible. As, you know, I can use that to gauge if, you know, the time is right to really get into PvP. Right now, I feel like, I don't know. I'm on the fence right now, because obviously, yes, you know, at the time of recording this, you know, I only have one max level. You know, one max level trying to PvP with her on my, it's a storm, you know, trying to PvP on my storm. Hey, it might work out. It might not. You know, it just, I don't know. You know, and my balance is going to be the next one up to 170. Don't know how that's going to go. Although she will be at more of an advantage than my storm, because I've actually had time to prepare her in terms of, you know, right now. I'm preparing her by questing her as much as possible, trying to get as many spell elements on her as possible, really trying to make sure that my storm, my balance, has all the right tools for when it's time to PvP. Now, I will say it, I am working on life as well, but I want to try to do a damage PvP setup for life. Obviously, you know, that is the less taken road when it comes to PvP content for life. You know, you think of them more as, you know, trying to keep the heal, you know, trying to keep their health semi-high so they don't get punished as much. But, you know, there's always, you know, that's just my nature. I like to experiment. And I think experimenting with this life damage project might be something cool. Obviously, I don't know what the thoughts are on, you know, what it might lead to, but hey, it's worth a shot, right? Now, that was off topic, but I'm just sort of, you know, planting like a sort of like a thing that, you know, the experimentation aspect of PvP needs to come back. I feel like PvP needs more experimentation with different types of setups, rather than this similar strat that just keeps working over and over and over like jading. It needs to be fixed. It needs to change. Definitely 100%. You know, in most of the points that, you know, Liam bring up, Ice Gold bring up, I feel very strongly agreeing, because they are very reliable PvP sources because of them being so much into the PvP community. Even Sauce, to even certain extents as well. I know, you know, he's not, you know, he does have his controversial moments sometimes, and some people don't really like the guy. But I like Sauce, I like Liam, and I like Ice Gold because of their PvP content, and they are very good at explaining the PvP content, and also other content as well. They're just really good at explaining stuff, and that's why I trust them when they give their thoughts about PvP and such. Now, this rant has probably gone on for a while, and I very much do apologize for it. But you know, this just, you know, just me being so dedicated to the game now, it just doesn't feel right not talking about topics that affect a good chunk of parts of the community, and it just felt like the right time to do this. Either way, let me know your thoughts about PvP in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I will link Liam's video that he just released, and I will also add Ice Gold's in the description below, so you guys can go follow him, go check out their stuff, and, you know, go support them as well, because they are a big help and big inspiration to what I do on this channel. So, either way, I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys in the next video, and hopefully when Selenopolis does come out, you guys will get to see it first on my live stream. So, yeah, see you guys in the next one.